Hey guys, in 2024, we're doing something a little bit different. We want to hear from you on what movie we need to talk about.
Yep. If you guys like movies like us, we're definitely interested in hearing what type of movies or what movies specifically you want to listen to us. And if you want to give us some suggestions, there's the Beacons link available in the description, which then you have Discord, you have YouTube, comments, whatever you want to do, DM us. Just let us know what you want us to talk about, and we're happy to share that with you.
And of course, you can't forget to like, subscribe, give us 5 stars, name your children after us, or whatever it is that you want to do. But make sure you do it so that more people can find us.
Definitely, please support us because we need all the support, and you guys can definitely help us keep going in 2024. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're here to talk about the 2024 show, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And as always, I have here with me Ramon
Hey, guys.
and Ro.
Howdy, howdy.
I've been waiting for a show like this for a long time, a show that's really going to tackle what it is to be in a relationship in 2024. So I'm super excited. And before we start, I also want to mention that we do have a fan question that I hope at the end of the episode we can tackle. But this
Okay.
question came in from Melissa, and she wants to know what we thought of the Fantastic Four casting. So if you guys
Okay.
want to hear our thoughts on that, stay to the end of the show, and you guys will hear what we think
I
about
see you,
the casting.
Melissa. I see you, Melissa. Trying to instigate.
but let's get to it. Ramon, what did you think about the show?
Oh, well, let me start. I think you hit it on the spot about like a show about relationships. I think we've been talking about the last few episodes that we've done have been about relationships. And I think this kind of just falls right in. I love the scary insight of the couple relationship. And I feel like it might get me in trouble once we start talking. But
Oh,
I
definitely.
love the show. There's a lot of like reflection and a lot of cool things about it. Just excellent show, man. I think anything with Donald Glover is just like primo. And then Mizu Maya, I'm starting to love her now ever since Blue Eye Samurai. So can't go wrong there either.
She's the one that voices her?
She
Yeah,
voices.
yeah.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah,
I
I
like that a
recognized her
lot.
because I recognized her because when I was
Yeah,
watching
it
Blue Eye
makes sense.
Samurai, yeah,
Yeah.
when I was watching Blue Eye Samurai, I had to look up who was the voice actress, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, that's there
The
she
voice
is.
fits.
Which
Yeah.
Yeah,
is kind of
yeah,
funny because in the show she says that I'm half Scottish, half Japanese. So
yeah.
that's
She's
also a
mixed.
little bit
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
no
In
blue
this show.
eyes, but I'll take it. At least I didn't think she had blue eyes. No, I don't think so.
No, she didn't
No,
have blue
no.
eyes.
Okay. Well,
But
close
Ro,
But
what do
they're
enough.
you
deeply into them.
Close enough. And she knew
Ro,
how to fight really. Oh, you did? Okay, John.
Ro, what did you think about this show?
So, in preparation for this episode, I saw the movie again last night. And no lie, I forgot how good looking Angelina Jolie was. Like, I cannot get over how good looking she was. But
Okay, well, don't.
anyway,
Yeah.
Which is
back
funny.
to this show. Obviously, like this show was kind of inspired off of that. So like going into it, I didn't really kind of know what to expect. I just knew I love Donald Glover. I love anything that I'll watch anything that he does. I think he's like the Renaissance man of our generation. But I didn't kind of know what to expect that they were gonna do for like a whole season considering the movie, but I really liked it. I like how they changed it, and the fact that they were paired up in the whole thing. But like the whole way that they did the relationship, I liked in the sense because obviously I've been single for a minute. So kind of going into like the whole dating world and stuff like that, and kind of getting to know people in that process of getting to know somebody like that, it was interesting to kind of see it. But like they jumped right into the marriage, and but like still trying to like keep on rings and all that stuff, and then the whole assassinating thing.
Let me ask you
I
real
love
quick.
him.
Have any of you seen Atlanta at all? Like
No,
three
still
seasons?
not. But I
You
listen
get
to his music and I've
you get
seen other stuff he's been in.
I,
I
So
seen it
I,
stand up.
I'm I'm gonna tell you right now, Atlanta has to be like one of the best shows that have come up in the last like 15, 10 years. Like one of the
Well, he
best. Like
writes
it's
for it.
he writes, direct. I think he's he might have even
Yeah,
directed a
he
few,
directs too. Yeah.
but I highly recommend because yeah, you will see a lot of why, like to what you were saying, or like he is brilliant, and I think when you do go back and watch Atlanta, you'll understand why everybody from that cast is famous now. Like they have all gotten so much bigger from what that show started when it
Well,
first started in
Brian
the first
Tyree
season.
Henry's huge too now.
Yeah, so definitely hope you guys can check that out soon if you guys haven't. But
I
yeah, man,
gotta.
let's talk about the show because I'm excited to see you guys, and I have some questions for you guys, so I can't wait to start asking them.
Well, I'll start off. So, what did you guys think of the beginning, like those interview questions by this like AI looking thing?
That
That
was
was
not the
Because
beginning.
Skarsgård.
That was not the
Skarsgård,
beginning.
yeah.
Angelina Jolie look-alike beginning, right?
oh
Because we were just
yeah,
talking about her.
like
Okay.
oh dude, she was hot too.
She's famous. She's a Mexican actress. My
Yeah.
wife
What?
immediately identified her.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
is
I
My
didn't
wife
know
she?
that.
immediately
I've
saw
never
her
seen
and
her. Like
But
novela or what?
I think she's in like U.S. movies. She might have been like an ambulance, honestly, if I look her up real
she
quick.
looked familiar. But most important, I think my wife was very much like, doesn't she look like Angelina Jolie? And I'm like, that's funny. I could see how they picked someone that perhaps resembled her a little bit. So your first introduction into the show was like based off the movie in the past. Not that it has anything to do with it, but in a sense, I think she resembled Angelina Jolie.
Dude,
Yeah,
honestly,
so
I totally forgot about that beginning. I don't. The guy was famous too, right? I don't remember who it
that's
was though.
Skarsgård, dude. Skarsgård from
Oh,
freaking yeah.
I knew it was somebody, but I forgot
Oh
who it
my
was.
god.
I love him.
That's
Not
hilarious.
enough, apparently. You can't even tell
That,
who he
you
is.
can't even tell he is when he's
No,
not busting out.
I don't remember who. Well, I forgot about that whole segment that they had like right at the beginning, and
Yeah.
then and then you guys mentioned it, and then I was like, oh yeah, that girl was super hot,
He
and
he
then
he
but
has
then
to
I
have his
forgot who the guy was.
abs in order for a role to be like, oh, that's right, that's him. I've seen that
Yeah, I
guy.
want him to be a Viking and or the CEO of a Swedish uh
Or Tarzan.
tech
Or
yeah
Tarzan.
a Swedish tech company
No,
that's
no,
trying to
yeah.
merge
So
with
that
Fox.
actress, it's Isa Gonzalez, and she's been in Baby Driver, Ambulance, Bloodshot.
Baby
Uh,
Driver.
so she's been definitely in a lot of other things. So yeah, like I think my wife
What
somehow she must know her from like social media or something.
why does she look hotter here than she's looked in the
Right.
past?
They gave her the like that farm dress, and she was
I
definitely
don't know.
working it.
So man, the
That
show about
face.
relationships and Raul's gonna be like, damn, she's hot. Damn, she's hot. Like I get it, Raul. I get it. Some of us can say that publicly. Some of us have wives.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
but that was like truly the beginning of the show, and
Yeah.
I honestly had placed money that we were gonna see another flashback with them, like later on in the episode, to like really kind of uncover what happened with them. But I guess I know what happened, but it's just kind of wish I would have seen more
Yeah.
of them.
No, but I think it was a cool introduction because I think, not that people probably haven't gotten a chance to see Mr. and Mrs. Smith in a while, but I think it's this kind of sets you right in the tone of ultimately, they're like spies. And by the end of it, if they go defective or once, I guess, the agency gets bored of them, that's what happens to them. So it's like they almost introduce like the end result and like the consequences of them defaulting right in the beginning. So like right from the
Yeah,
beginning, you knew the stakes of like John and Jane Smith. So that's pretty cool. I like the
yeah.
intro.
I was gonna ask you guys, are they good spies? In the first couple of episodes, do you think they're good spies?
I I think that they kind of get thrown into it with not enough information, and they're trying to figure it out. But obviously, like I don't think that they had a ton of experience because
Mm,
you find out that she was kicked out of CIA, like kind of training because she didn't pass the psych test, and uh he was like a drone pilot. So
mm.
the actual in the field thing is the thing that kind of makes me think that like he wouldn't be that great in the field, but he's great at improvising.
Yeah,
Because of
I mean
his
they proved
asthma, man.
themselves.
Sad.
Yeah, they
Wow.
Yeah.
proved themselves by the end. But in the beginning, I just kind of thought they were fumbling it too much, or not really having like a really good
Dude,
plan.
I took it more like they were new to each other, so they were like bad working together, and
Yeah.
they had to like figure it out. So I think that they probably did it to kind of show that there was going to be progress throughout the show, because
Yeah.
obviously in the beginning they're like really bad at working together because they're pretty different people, and they work differently, and then but I think that if it's because of what happens in the show, and then kind of like the relationship issues that they start to have,
Yeah.
because and that's kind of like the introduction to what's gonna be coming up.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to be talking about relationships a lot, which I'm excited for this episode for that reason, because maybe we could get a little real about like our opinions about certain things. But I think it's funny because like, yeah, it's exactly what it is. Like based off the questions that the agency was asking them during their interview, and then seeing like their first interactions together, it's definitely like a relationship, right? Like being set up, or maybe me like, getting to know each other on the apps, which are, oh, you know better about this in a sense. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, the whole idea of just like them having basically being blind married at first sight, if you guys watch trash TV. Anyways, yeah, it's kind of fun to see it, because here's two people that don't know anything about each other. I don't think the spy thing is not necessarily relevant, but it's just the fact that the agency is willing to take people that don't have the experience in being spies, but they have some kind of like military or like, agency like affiliation, and then being like, cool, you're good enough, you're gonna die anyways, come join our like, agency. I don't know. It just feels like it felt kind of fun in the beginning to really discover
Yeah.
what was really how it was going to develop. So you were getting to meet, like Raul said, getting to meet them as you were meeting the plot of the show, and I think that was pretty fun.
I just think when this whole expectation that when they're like, let's just make enough money, and once we feel like we make enough money, we'll walk away. It's like, you guys realize what you guys are doing. Like, there's no way that this organization that you know nothing about is just gonna say like, all right, well, go enjoy your money. Like, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes they were very unrealistic with the expectations of what the job was gonna require from them.
Yeah,
And honestly, I'm kind of happy that it had been so long since I saw the movie, because I think I would have had more misconceptions coming into it if I had seen the movie more recently before I started watching the show. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because like in the movie they had like different agencies or whatever, but in the show it was just like there's one organization of some kind, and then Hi is the one that like sends out all the stuff, who's giving out like all the instructions, and you don't even know if they're like the good guys or the bad guys.
you kind of don't. Like, I
No.
don't think there was like a point where it really seemed obvious, because like
Mm-hmm.
really most of the missions that we saw were like pretty ambiguous. Like, it was like, hey, here's a rich dude who likes to buy art. Like, go, question him,
Well,
like give on truth to him and see what he's about. And then everything else they did, it was just kind of very ambiguously neither good or bad.
I think for the first mission, it must have been one of those things like just to get to know each other, because I was sort of like them. I'm like, is this really like a high risk mission? Like, what are we doing here?
The
Even
cake.
even when they dropped off the cake, I'm like, okay, that was kind of strange. So it totally caught me off guard when,
Mm-hmm.
surprise.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely, like you said, definitely a test to see how they did together, and like, I guess not necessarily directly with that, but something that I really enjoyed about the show. If you guys look at the titles for each episode, it was cute because it was very
I
much.
don't.
I'll read them off to you right now because they're really enjoyable. No, the
Do
reason
it.
why they matter is because they all have to do with the steps of a relationship in a sense, or they're part of a relationship. So like episode 1 was first date, right? In which we had that when they were like at the
Mm.
diner, they were tracking the old lady who ultimately had the cake. Second episode was second date,
Oh,
and you
oh,
have
wait, hold on. The diner thing, that
yeah.
definitely, like, I thought that they're really bad because they just kept staring at her. I was like, why are you
But
guys both just looking? But yeah, sorry, continue,
yeah, no,
Ramon.
I'm gonna say that's exactly what it was. You're totally right. So you had your second date. Episode 3 was first vacation, double date. Do you want kids? Couples therapy, which is also parentheses naked and afraid. Then you have your
Ah,
episode 7 was infidelity, and then your last one's a
mm,
breakup. So like that's genius. Like we're
mm.
doing a show. I mean, again, like this show wasn't even like it was about spies, but it was clearly about relationships. I'm like,
Yeah.
what
I,
better way to like really even
I,
hit more of a point to it than just title your
yeah.
episodes this way?
I mean, I kind of started by talking about the spy part of it, but you're right, Ramon. It feels more like you're watching a couple in a relationship that have the same job, and the spy really doesn't matter. Like, we're not here to like talk about any of the spy stuff, even though we will, because some of it is cool. But in reality, the parts that I found the most enjoyable is when they're just like fighting with each other, or they're texting each other, or they're not responding, or one's turning off their location, and it's pissing off the other person, and it's like that was the part that really made this show really enjoyable to be
or
able
or
to
or or,
relate to
or
that.
yeah, or they're having emotional affairs with other people.
All these parts, man. I tell you, I'm gonna be in trouble by the end of this episode.
I mean, is there anything off the first episode or in the beginning that you want to talk about where it's just kind of like, because they're not really hooking up right away. I think in the beginning, I honestly didn't even know by when they were gonna hook up because they were so cold with one another that I'm like, oh man, they really do feel like they're on totally opposite sides of like each other.
I will say the thing with the cat I found kind of weird with
Cat.
like yeah, because like they're there and then there's a cat
It's her cat though.
no, yeah, but going into
No,
like I didn't know that it was her cat, and they was like, oh, the house came with a cat, and then they're talking about like what they're gonna name it and all that stuff, and
And
then
she was
it was
not
like, oh,
budget.
Max. Yeah, I was like, okay, but I don't know.
But
I just find that kind of weird, and like
well,
why wouldn't you just say that? Hey, this cat came with me. His name is Max.
that's the whole thing. It's like she's key. Like it's the whole thing. You start this relationship with this person, and like why not just say like
they
the
didn't tell
cat?
you.
Yeah,
They didn't tell you they
but
had a cat.
she can bring the cat, but he can't tell his mom whatever. It's like okay, well, who's making what
The
rules
cat's not
here?
gonna talk.
Oh my
Yo, I
god.
know, but what I'm saying, can you imagine like getting into a relationship, somehow never been to her place, or somehow never even like thinking of that possibility for one reason or another, but then you guys decide to move it in, and all of a sudden there's a cat that's involved? Like, not that I hate cats, I don't, but I just
Mhm.
yeah, I'm a dog person, right? So to me, I would be like, oh, you have a cat. I mean, of course, depending on the type of guy or person you are, try to have a relationship with that
Yeah.
animal. But at the
I,
end of the day, it could throw a lot of people off. And Donald Glover, like John, was just not for it, not whatsoever.
I've always been open minded about having a cat. I'm a dog person as well, so it would have to be like my daughter would want to have a cat for me to even be be able to bring a cat into my household. But I don't have anything against them. I think they're kind of like apex predators, so I do like find them like just like the Egyptians. I'm kind of like fascinated by them.
But Raul
I
doesn't
have a
like cats
cat.
either.
You
I have
do
a cat. Yeah,
in your
well,
house,
it's my sister's cat. So
Okay,
oh,
there you
there's a
go.
got and a dog here in the house.
but you're
But
not in
Yeah,
a
Raul,
relationship with your sister though.
no,
huh?
but still though,
But
like
you're
look
not
at
in a
it.
relationship with your sister though.
No.
Yeah.
But the improvements Raul was making, man, he went from like not liking dogs and who knows about cats, but questionable from your comments earlier. But now you're living with both, so a whole
Okay.
cat
Yeah.
dog situation there.
I've growing up, I've had both. I've had a couple cats and a dog.
Yeah. No, I mean, in that first episode, I think that's what it was. It was just us getting to meet them. Like, I guess the question should be like, what did you guys think about their personalities in the beginning? Right? Like, not trying to think of like later and the more we discovered, but I think that was like a big part of it. You were trying to learn the responsibilities. I mean, personalities. Carlos, you mentioned the whole thing about like them getting intimate. I thought that was great because like after you find out truly what's happening, even though you know you're watching a show about spies, but once you like get more of the information about the arrangement, then right away like she was like super professional and she wanted nothing to do with him like romantically, like
Hmm.
physically, and she put that right out there. Like the whole comments later that she was cold, I think it's a great way of describing her, and it's not negative necessarily. Like she was cold and she had a wall, and that was that was her coming into the relationship. She was just not opening up, and yeah.
No, yeah, because I was gonna say like when he first met her, and I don't know what time of the day it was, but it's like, hey, do you want to go get drinks, get to know each other? And she's like, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. And then the next day when they're hanging out in the park, and he's still asking, it's like she's not giving him anything, and it's like, well, this is gonna work. Like I gotta know something about you, girl. But
Yeah.
I did find it funny when he went into the bedroom not wearing a shirt because that was totally on purpose. But I like John, man. He just seems like such a Michael, John, whatever you want to call him, but he's just such a likable. I definitely saw some traits of myself in him when it comes to like my relationship. So I think for the
Like
most
the
time
good
I was kind of
looks.
no, not like the good looks.
A
Definitely not the
lovable idiot. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
yeah, the whole like not reading a book. Even though I'll take this giant book on vacation everywhere I go, but I always
Oh,
come
that's
back and it's like
yeah.
I've read 50 pages in the whole 5, 6, 7 nights that I had an opportunity to like actually read. So it's like
But
yeah,
that's way more efforts that I put into reading a book. And not saying that I don't like reading. I'm just saying that I use my time for other things. So it's just I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Wait,
Like his personality too. Yeah.
is the book that they were talking about? Is that a real book?
I was gonna look it up. The Prophet.
Yeah, but I forgot to look it up.
But is it Ramon? Like I even
Yes.
meant to look it up because I was like, this feels like something made up for the show. Like it's not a real
No,
thing.
but I think it was funny that it was one of those things that kind of persisted all throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean
It
that's why I
was
know the
like,
name, then them name of it.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like one of those things too. It's like something you don't particularly like about your relationship, your significant other, and you just won't drop it. You're like, well, you don't like to dance, so
Yeah.
no, I so the neighbor I think is one of the funniest things in the whole show as well, like because he's not there the whole time, but
The
just the whole
hot
idea,
neighbor.
the hot no,
Neighbor.
preferences. That's all I gotta say. But yes, like I don't know, like to me he was so mysterious. I thought he was gonna be like a bad guy. I thought he was gonna be like
Same
some
thing.
sort of
Oh,
like
I was waiting
like
for it. Yeah.
spying on them or something, or at least have a real affair. But just finding out his true intentions were pretty hilarious too.
Yeah, that was weird. I was
By
so
the-
not
by
expecting that.
by the
Yeah.
end of that, yes, it was so great. No, I mean, like I don't know. I don't think we could do like episode by episode, but it so happens to be the second episode. When they had go to that dinner party and there's or the dinner party, the silent auction, and their whole mission is
Oh,
to
yeah.
do the truth serum to I forget his name, and in order to be able to get whatever confession he has to do. I thought that was hilarious. I think that's like the first scene in
Oh my
the
God.
show, and so far that really kind of made you realize that it's also like a really funny comedy because it's not just like a serious show.
Well-
The whole both of them stabbing into him accidentally, or even
Well-
before then.
Well, that was the thing. That's where I'm like, are these guys even good at being spies? Because I'm like, you got him in the room. Like, there's no reason for you to be even playing along with his games. Like, just sit him down, stab him, and get what you need and get out. Like, I don't know why this is still happening the way it is.
I mean, like at that point, if that's you, like, would you like got in on all fours and started barking?
No, you
Depending on
grab
why,
him, you sit him
like,
down, and you stab him with a pen, and done.
It's
But
completely
then he's
called
gonna
not.
tell people that you stabbed them because it's truth serum.
Well, she almost did it in open space, which is like, hey, no witnesses. So that almost like that was her first thought, like do it now. But
That was
yeah.
part of it too. Like, obviously John was like more so he thought he had like better plans, more coordinated, trying to be like more careful with stuff. And she was like blunt and straight to the point, and like
Oh my
whatever she
God.
needed to get her like, mission done, that's all her. It was a funny scene with the whole like come down being on their all fours and kind of playing that out.
Later on in the episode when she shoots the three guys playing poker, on my second
Oh
rewatch,
my God.
well, she shoots two of them, but in my second rewatch, I'm like, she shot the two that she knew didn't have weapons, and the one that she knew had a weapon because they talk about it. Only one of them is carrying, and it's the guy in yellow. And she doesn't shoot the guy in yellow, and I'm like, why wouldn't you shoot the guy in yellow if you're gonna do that to him? And I feel like that was like purposely like a punishable thing that she did. Oh my
Wow.
God.
Kind of messing with him a little bit, right? Like putting him at risk, but saying like I had it the whole time. Like
She was pissed. She was pissed about
Yeah.
the fact that like this thing was taking way too long, and the fact that the conversations were very like he felt
Racist.
so cool. Yeah, racist. I don't think they say it that
Or
way.
sexist.
That's my favorite episode, by the way. So when we do talk about when they go to this lady's house for therapy, that is my
yeah.
whole favorite episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the vacation. How do you like the episode with when they're like skiing and they're doing
I
the whole
love that
mission there?
episode. The snow one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
that
that
was
one.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you see the reflection of like how they're like projecting into the other couple that they're watching, because they're like agreeing or disagreeing with one side while they're arguing and all that stuff, and then when they do split up, you kind of see that like that they split up based off of kind of the person that they are more identify with.
Well, what did you hear about the whole like tomorrow I won't work? Was it like I won't work completely, or I'll still have to like work?
God!
And I'm like, I don't know. It depends on like where she posted, or I don't know. But to me, it felt like she was not gonna work at all. So I was taking definitely the husband side.
I think she definitely manipulated her words. Of course, like she was
Yeah.
definitely trying to make it seem like she wasn't, but she was. I thought
That
that's
she
a
wasn't
funny
going to work
argument,
all day. Like, yeah, I'm not going to work all
Not
day.
all day. So-
Oh my God. And then like when they were following them, that was just again to you saying about Jane, like she's just so cold, especially when like the elderly people kind of stopped and was like, hey, let's meet up.
Oh my God,
And-
that's
oh
hilarious.
my
Nice.
goodness!
It's like-
She fucking
like,
went
shut
off
the,
on
she's
the
like, shut the
only-
fuck up, shut the fuck up. Like,
And okay, so there you go. Like we can start bringing some of this like real life things to it. Okay, you guys know I work in retail. Besides that, I like artists and love to talk, right? Clearly, we do this podcast, so I can't shut up sometimes. So I don't know. I guess, what do you consider? Like, you consider it's a bad trait of someone? Because when I go places, I love to start small talk wherever not always because I'm more conscious, because my wife hates it sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's sometimes that she's like, dude, like, to stop. Like, we just way too much conversation. We don't need to know all this stuff about. But it's funny when that episode came out, and I'm like, you know what? Is that really awkward sometimes? Like, I don't think I love making vacation friends, because
No.
then you always have like you see them and you're like, you feel like you have to go hang out with them, and I'm like, I don't like. It's great to meet people during vacations, depending where you go. It's great to have a couple drinks with them, meet up maybe one more time before you leave. But I've definitely been on a vacation where I open up way too much. We talk too much. The next thing you know, these people love us, and here they are trying to hang out with us like every other night. And I don't know. I thought it was a pretty funny.
That's
It's
because
funny
you're
that
so good looking.
it's not the good looking man. I know how to sweet talk anybody. I like that. Those grandparents, like those older people, like that would have been me all over that. Like, really, like, tell me more. I want to hear it all. Like, I do identify with freaking John a lot, because I think a lot of his personality traits are like me, and it's just like, dude, what's wrong with making not only friends, but what's wrong with
Yeah, like
having a
talking
little
to people.
conversation, like being part
I,
of someone's like good experience at a
I'm,
trip.
I'm, I'm, I was gonna say I'm the same way. Like I like to go on vacation and like talk to people, and like sucks if they do get attached and you're not feeling it, and you're like, damn, that was my fault for being so friendly or so into their conversation when really I
Yeah,
wanted to like break it off. There are times where like I'm like, oh man, I do wish we would have made more of a connection with that couple. But I know my wife is not also like that kind of person to all of a sudden be
dude.
like, yeah, let's hang out with them or let's get to know them or actually build a relationship. One of my last times I went on vacation, I met like a French couple, and that's when I found out that in France you go into a marriage, like that's not a marriage, but it's a contract that you can do contracts, and then at the end of the 5 year contract, you can choose to like renew it or just end it. And I thought that was so cool. And like here we are meeting like a French person. My wife loves to talk French, so I was just kind of like hoping that we would have like gotten some
She
kind of
speaks
connection.
French.
Like she like knows it more than she'll be like. She'll play it out as like, oh, I only took it in high school, but then next, she's having like full on conversations, and I'm like, well, how do you not know French but can understand it and have a full on
Yeah, yeah,
conversation with, especially with somebody from France.
yeah.
So it's just kind of like I do wish like, oh, maybe that would have been like a cool person to like have kind of connection with, so that we could see like her life, and what she's going through, and find out at the end of her 5 year contract whether she's renewed it with this guy that I'm like meeting also.
Dude, that's how swingers get going. I don't know, Carlos. It's a dangerous
Oh,
road. No,
dude.
just kidding, just kidding, just kidding.
I
No,
mean,
that's
I would have my wife been open to it. I would have been open to it too.
I mean, live a little. No, like, but it's. I mean, there's also those situations. I don't know. I guess I just gone to enough trips that yeah, I've had different experiences with meeting different people, but I still like to take the risk. I still like to like make a conversation with people. But I think in this situation, it was hilarious because you saw that like there's always someone, or not necessarily all the time, but like she clearly didn't like for the whole making friends, having conversations with people. She was just like to the point.
Yeah, no, it's because it was being
just
disruptive
working.
to the mission.
Yeah, I
It's gonna
understand
be like,
that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I also feel like if I had been in that whole like, hey, we're doing this and they're getting away, like I would have also been. I mean, I don't know how harsh I would have been, but she was definitely on another level because that would have gotten her in trouble too. Like it's just saying out loud, like, hey, I have a gun.
So then, do you think
uh,
that's a flaw of the system for the agency? Like, I mean, I get why they hire like strangers and they kind of put them in the situation together, but like again, to me, it sounds like a reality TV show, right? Like we could make this happen like soon. Netflix, pick it up. And yeah, no, but I think it's funny because like this would work so much better if you were already in a like committed relationship or after like months of experience, which you saw by the end. I don't know. I just think it's cool. I like to tag team a mission. My
Yeah, it'd
wife.
be
Be
cool to
cool.
go on a mission. As far as the agency, the one time I truly felt like screwed them purposely was when they went looking for that guy in the woods. I'm like, well, you didn't give him any coordinates. Like, you don't know where to find this guy. I don't know what you can do. And honestly, the whole time they were like in the wild, like I knew they were okay because we were getting a scene of them in the future, talk like, and we were watching that story. But I'm like, I would have been scared a bullet's gonna come at me like at any moment, from this like hunter. So it's just like that was like the worst mission I think they went on this whole
no,
like
no, but
eight
with that one,
episodes.
I think they screwed it up because they were like on his trail, but then they lost him.
I don't know.
Oh
Oh,
goodness,
so you think
is
like
that
John
this?
kind of messed it up?
Maybe or her or
Uh,
combination or what one or both of them.
Was that
I
the
mean,
episode where he went off on her? Like when, yeah, because they were lost, right? And it was at night when they were like
yeah.
camping,
Oh yeah, and
and they're
she brought
having
up the
that.
mom.
Oh my goodness, that argument! Like, goodness, have I gone through that stuff before? Like, that was like another great moment too, because you're seeing them kind of like still trying to figure each other out, like still trying to like figure out how to work together. I think that moment was great. Like, who doesn't identify with a good argument, right? But also an argument where like you really go off on someone or they really go off on you. But damn, like that's when he was like called her cold. He said that she didn't know how to like doesn't know what a relationship between a father and a daughter is, and like all this stuff. Like he was roasting her because he was so angry. Like don't mess with his mama.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like she insulted his mom, and dude, like again, another part of like John that I relate. Not that I call my mom 3 times a day, but like I definitely and my
Mom's
wife
good.
knows it. Like my mom, she's done so much for us that it's impossible to deny. Like the fact that she comes in, she'll babysit for us, she'll like bring us food. We're sick, she's taking care of me, and it's just like, yeah, I get as much as like I'm not a mama's boy and calling her like 3 times a day. I will get defensive
I'm a
if all of a
mama's
sudden
boy.
like you're talking smack about her like I have gotten defensive where like I think I ruined Christmas one time because I'm like you're straight up like it's just kind of like yeah like I take that shit personally, so I'm in John's side in that one as well. I think
I
the whole thing, man. I'm never really on Jane's side, honestly.
No, no. The thing with that episode, that's probably like one of the times that like I related to him the most because like if you get me outdoors like in the woods, that's me. Like that's me. Like I know where we're going. I know all that
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
let
I'm
me
I'm
teach you.
I'm gonna whatever and fish and or spear shoot at fish or whatever. But like that's me, and then like I'll be proud of myself, and then if you're over there kind of complaining the whole time, then that's one of the most annoying things for me. Like, why are you here? Like, you can choose to be miserable, or you can choose to like try to make the best of it, and yeah.
Question, Raul. Should I act like I don't know what's going on so you feel better about yourself? No, I'm kidding. That's what I felt like, and it
No.
sucks too because like I know, of course not. I obviously, but like no, like that's kind of also where I felt bad for him that episode too because like here he is, like he's struggling with a way to like really make her like he wants to feel respected, right? He wants to feel like he is providing something that she doesn't take him for granted, that she thinks of him not necessarily as like a macho man, but like he wants to feel like he's being like a good husband, right? And I think that was an episode where he was like you said, Raul, something you love, something you like to do, and he felt like confident that that's something within his like skill scope, and she just didn't care for it. Like she was just like, if anything, she was like, you just want me to like basically like play like I don't know what I'm doing and make you feel like you're teaching me something. And I like that hurt, man. I think just the whole demasculating him, and it can go both ways. Again, it was
Yeah.
just we're talking about like this show, but it's just like yeah, it kind of does suck like when some people like do make other people feel that way. And I think that's kind of what led on to that whole explosive like argument. Because at this point, she just really wasn't giving him any kind of like like she just wasn't making him feel good, like not as a man but just as a partner, man. Like she's I
Yeah,
don't
I mean, we
know.
get the whole thing about like how she has to give him instructions when he's pleasing her, and
No, no,
oh man,
that was his big issue with that is that like he was in this situation in the woods where he thought that he was better equipped to kind of lead the situation, but his issue with her was that she was always controlling and she was always trying to like manage the situation,
yeah.
and not allowing him to kind of lead the things that he was good at. And he thought that this situation would have been the perfect situation for him to do that. But then
Yeah,
she still tried to like micromanage everything and not allow him to kind of shine or whatever.
Well, I
So
think
yeah,
the mom definitely broke John the best, like later on in the episode when she's like, if you let John just like make him feel safe, like he'll show you truly who he is and,
it's
he'll be
awesome.
caring and stuff. But if you try to manipulate him to be somebody, whoever you want him to be, then, he's not going to be like happy or really, he's not going to be really into the
Mhm.
relationships. It's like, make sure you know which John you're breaking up with. And I thought that was like very truthful, man. Like if you don't feel safe in your own home, like, it's just kind of like, it's not a great feeling. I'll say that. It's not a great feeling.
Do you think this is like I don't know, like I guess I besides knowing him through like his music and other like shows or movies, like do you think like Donald Glover is like he wrote himself? Because I know he helped with the writing a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
Like you think like that's part of his personality? Like it seems like the whole thing feels very genuine to him. I don't think
Yeah.
Maya is like perhaps like as cold as like she was written in the show, but obviously it's not like true. But like I don't know, I really like that aspect of him. Like I would love to meet like John specifically and be friends with dude. Like I even dressed like him today, like mustache and
Oh,
all.
I said that earlier. Yeah, you're wearing the white. I'm
Call
wearing the
me
black.
out. Yeah.
Atlanta, man. I'm telling you, if you really want to see
Yeah.
him like shine, that's the show.
Yeah.
That's where you'll get more John.
Yeah, more John. What do you guys think of the other John and Jane?
Wait, wait,
Oh
The
my
oh,
wait, can I?
god.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
Wait, wait,
ahead.
can I go back to when
Yeah.
in the episode when they were in
No,
the snow
no time
and he
traveling.
was rescuing that rich woman, and Jane was like pissed off that he was doing this, and she didn't know where he
Because she
was, and
was worried.
she was texting him all these things, and if you're
Turn
not
off his note
that,
like freaking
yeah.
location.
Oh, I
And
know.
like, dude, I found that so anxious. Like this idea of like him doing something he can't even
So
answer, and she's
petty.
so mad, and she's saying all these things. And like I had a experience like this week that kind of happened to me with Valentine's Day, where I had ordered my wife flowers, but for some reason they weren't arriving. Like it wasn't arriving.
Oh, I
And
thought you
normally
were
I'm
gonna
I'm
say
used to
with
them
her.
getting them like by a certain time, and here we are like it's like 4 p.m. They still haven't gotten there. So she was like, "Oh, I guess I'm not getting flowers," and like, what am I supposed to say? Like, yes, you're getting them. Like, I didn't want to spoil a surprise, so like, I have to almost play dumb. And she's saying things, and I'm saying things, and I'm like, if these fucking flowers have just gotten here, like, at the time that they should have, like, I wouldn't be dealing with this shit. But it is like once she got the flowers, she obviously felt stupid. And I'm like, I'm sure you felt like Jane. Like you're probably thinking like, delete your messages, don't look at your messages, just don't worry about them. So I thought that was kind of funny that same shit
Yeah.
happened to me this week.
I thought I was gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble. No, I'm just kidding.
I got in trouble when I sent the damn flowers. uh,
Oh
And that's
man.
why not being married is an advantage of Valentine's Day.
Okay, I ain't complaining, but also I'm not saying anything. No comment. No, I'm just
yeah, I
kidding.
mean, bro,
Just kidding.
on how many dates would it take for you to finally like be able to like fart in front of your significant or other person you're dating? Like, me and Ramon are been married, dating for a long time, so we fart all the time.
I'm
Don't
farting
speak for
now. No,
me.
I'm kidding.
Good to know.
In front of
No,
our
no,
significant others.
Wow.
I don't think it's like number thing. I think it's a comfort thing. So I think it depends on the other person. So yeah, because if she's cool, I think it could be sooner than someone that like is not as cool.
Oh, nice.
I think I thought that part was hilarious, man. I think that
Yeah.
is a freaking
When they
terrifying.
wake up,
It's a
dude,
terrifying
that was hilarious.
anxiety of just freaking being like with someone for the first few times, especially after spending the night together. Like, let's just start there. Let's start with the whole moment of like spending the night together. Like, it's just terrified. It was hilarious. She freaking woke herself up. But no, yes. And then Carlos, so the more serious, like, eventually, yeah, right. Like, it's hilarious because, like, I don't know. I grew up in like a household where my parents were very much like, do it in front of each other and play who like the blame game, and to me it's just never been like
Oh, fart.
You know,
but to me it's never been like
That's not what I imagined at first when you said
no, no, I had to rectify. But no, I mean, like, to me, it's just not I'm not crazy about it, but it's natural, it's normal. So it is really much a part of a relationship. I mean, even my dog joins in. So hey, let's just go.
yeah, dude, the dogs.
I used to get blamed for it too. So believe me, I do remember. It's too. Don't forget. It's like no, shut up. It wasn't me.
That's
It
hilarious.
wasn't me. No, yeah, but like that other couple. Sorry, not that. Just we'll be done with the little fart combo for a little bit. Okay, but yeah, what do you guys think of the other John and Jane? Just because I thought that the whole concept of them, and then yeah.
Another reason why I thought these guys were terrible spies, because I'm like, when he met this dude, I'm like, dude, like, there's no such thing as coincidence, especially in the world you're doing, like the world you live. I'm like, there's no such thing as a coincidence like that. And you're invited into your house. You don't really know. Like, I was
I
waiting. Dude. I was,
know.
from the beginning, I was waiting for them to like this be like another agency or some kind
Yeah.
of trap. And again, I was just kind of like, dude, are you like, you guys idiots? Like, I don't know why you guys are so into this thing happening with these strangers that you know nothing about.
Well,
or
very
or or the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, or
Yeah.
but very similar to the whole like vacation friends. It was the same thing too, right? Again, you used as a couple when you want to make friends, but it's not like within your normal like group. You don't know what you're gonna end up with sometimes, right? Like you can start thinking you make some like good friends, the next thing you know, they're weird or they're swingers or like who knows, man. But I don't know. I definitely love that episode in the sense of how they progress from like being like really into their stories and things they were talking about, and then by the end they're like, oh my god, they were fucking annoying. Like get the freak out of here. Like I don't know. That was funny because then later when we did find out that they were like obviously high risk because they were to take out John and James,
Yeah.
I think it was even more funnier because by this point they definitely didn't like them. They were really annoyed by them and just played them beautifully to that
Well, they were
episode.
they hated them because they freaking did them dirty with that mission. You know, they're like
I
thinking they're gonna go
know.
on a mission
But
together, and then they put them in a helicopter.
but not even then. Even when still they were doing the whole dinner thing, by the end of like that night, they were getting pretty like over them. Like they were like, oh, like what did we get ourselves into? But I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
one of those things that like one of them should have just said like I don't want to do this. But Jane, I think, was the one more into it than
Well, they
because I
were
think
trying to
she was the
make
one.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one that wants to like keep going up the ladder. She's
Mhm.
like, let's see what high risk is, and this will be fun, and it just not ended
Super
up
high
being
risk,
fun.
not just high risk.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought it was funny again because that's when the whole thing about the three sneezes comes into play for later
Mhm.
on, and I thought that was kind of like awesome because dude,
Genius. Yeah, it was
when
good.
I was watching that and he sneezed, I was just like them. I was like, he does it in three. It's like right there, like it's perfect. Like you can't control yourself when you're sneezing.
I,
So I thought that
I
was just awesome.
I just didn't expect her cool move of going under the table, coming back up, and just like pop right in the eye. Like that was cool.
How did she
Yeah.
shoot him in the eye and he not drop dead? I'm just like kind of thinking about
Well, I
that.
mean, doesn't mean that it went straight through his brain. It could
Yeah.
have gone like out.
Look.
Well, for
So,
Skarsgård, it went through here and it came out through here, so I'm expecting him to make another
oh, he ain't
appearance.
dead. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, that was great. What
We
about the
don't know how
episode
he
with?
got those scars.
what,
Guard.
what about the episode with Hellboy? Yeah, I think that one was
Oh
funny
yeah,
because of the
Oh my
title.
god! Yeah.
Because of the title, because it was like, "Do you want kids?" And literally, he was a big old baby, like the whole freaking
that's
episode.
funny. Yeah,
And it took me a second too. I'm like, why is he being like extra like childish? Like, and then I remember like clicking up and being like, oh my god, that's also hilarious because it was a joke within the title. It was just
I thought it was just funny. Like that was probably the most actiony episode, but I also thought it was pretty funny this idea that he bought a house, not telling her. And I'm like, dude, my
Mhm.
boy, like, what are you doing? Like, why would you
I
buy?
know.
Yeah, especially because I thought I'm like that couldn't have been cheap, man. Like you're in Italy, and I don't see that in any way like not costing you like a pretty
but
penny.
clearly they had money. Well, we never talked about their setup, like their freaking house, how beautiful it was, like how much
The
money.
Moby
Because
Dick of a house.
yeah,
it's a Moby
yeah.
Dick
I
of
mean,
a
I know we
house.
were gonna get there with that part of it, but like just in general, like just the resources and the money that the agency puts into their like freaking fine ass living.
In New
Like,
York.
I don't think I would do it for that. I don't think I would risk my life just to have that kind of like
I
luxury
would.
life. No, you wouldn't.
Well,
Maybe.
I
I
guess
don't know. I kind of believe you now. Yeah, you're
one of
very
the things that I was wondering is like I wonder how often because they make it seem like it happens on the daily, but I'm like they can't be on the daily going on missions. So like realistically, are we talking like can you go a month and only go two missions? Because if it's like that, then yeah, like why not, man? Like I'll take the life like the
well,
mission
we
for the
never,
lifestyle.
Maybe the whole murder of it all. Some people are opposed to that.
I mean, that wasn't my like. No, it was more of the dying part, but that part I'm
Yeah,
okay with. No, it was like I thought it was great because they did talk about like their leisures, like the things that they allow them to do. Because they were talking about like, oh, you can sleep with people if you want to. You can do like anything you want, really, as long as
Mhm.
you're carrying out your missions. So
yeah,
I think it is funny because I'm sure if they didn't have a mission, I'm not saying they can go take like a week off and like freaking somewhere like going on vacation, but I think it's kind of cool that while they are on a mission they can kind of have some leeway on what they don't do. At least it
yeah.
makes it more lucrative, right? You get a nice ass house, you get cars, money, anything you need to get paid more, and then yeah.
Yeah, because I
No,
saw
let's
the
go.
pool in the first episode. They showed the pool, and I'm like, oh,
Oh
there's the
yeah.
pool, and I'm like, damn, that
Yeah.
does look kind of nice.
Yeah.
I don't
And then the
remember
movie
the
theater,
pool.
yeah, and then the garage. It's like, yeah, like all these things that the city would never allow. They
Yeah.
had. uh,
Your
well,
episode with the therapist.
yeah, with the therapist. So that was kind of like my favorite one. I mean, we even already kind of talked about a lot of the scenes, the wood scene, and but I just thought it was so funny because I didn't see it in the beginning, but they're setting up how important this house is, and
So precious.
Oh
on,
yeah,
on my second rewatch, like I even caught that she's like, yeah, these are my childhood floors. And I was like,
yeah,
oh my god, like this house is like I get the joke from the very beginning. Like they're setting
yeah.
it up.
It's my own it's in my very own paradise.
Oh my god.
Just very precious, like
Yeah.
artifact or precious like memento
Yeah.
that someone gave it to me. Like,
It's the
yeah.
last one they ever made.
I
Before
caught
he
onto
died.
it, but I didn't know what
Yeah.
they were gonna do. I literally didn't think. I thought like she
But
was
I was
gonna
definitely
be like they were gonna get rid of her somehow. But knowing that she had a son, I kind of figured probably not.
Mhm.
I think it was more hilarious than they fucked
Well,
with
you
her
know
house
that
like
was
that way.
Jane that started the fire immediately. Like
Yo, of
it's not
course,
John. John would have
absolutely
been like,
no.
"Oh man, what are
Start
we
the
doing? Like,
fire.
we can't
It's like
burn
Always
the
burning.
he would have been like
Holocaust."
he would have been like all those precious memories.
All
Like, oh
those,
my god,
yeah.
like you gotta respect it. Like, but I guess we don't care about those things when you're Jane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that
But
was like very. Well, no, go ahead.
And she does
but
have
I mean,
the
but not that
sociopathic tendencies.
yeah. And not that I've ever been through like the whole marriage counseling situation, but I think that was like a great show for that reason because as far as like how I've seen it in other places and how like they were having like breakthroughs or just their conversation, it was great because by this point, they had been doing so much stuff that was like they were not happy with or they clearly weren't getting along. And just like in a relationship, like after a while, it's like you have some of these crazy arguments, but maybe it's not enough to just kind of like figure it out on yourself and by yourselves. And it was a great episode because it was like the whole idea that they were hiding the fact that they were spies and just how she kind of was trying to understand like what job do you do like really like freaking I don't know
It's not life or death.
it's not life or death. Like, why don't you guys just quit or like take some time off? And I'm just like, it's not that high stake. And this
No,
is
the
it
whole
was
like
funny. It was great.
die, motherfucker. Like I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, who? Like I would be like him. Like, who are you doing that for? Like, was that for me?
He just started busting out laughing.
Catchphrase.
Yeah, it was a catchphrase, but I get it from her end though. Like she's like, I was just trying to put myself in the moment. Like I was gonna like it was easier for me to do it if I said that. But
like yeah, I think you should have been like GP Kaye or whatever, motherfucker. Like,
Motherfucker.
that would have been like
GPKA,
too much.
yeah.
But
I don't know what's another good one. I don't even know what I would say. You have a guy on a rooftop. You're about to like kick him off. But yeah, I knew it, Raul. I knew it. I mean, you kind of stole it, but I like it. I don't
Flashback to an earlier episode.
Like all the first few ones.
Yeah.
No. Bye. I don't know. I don't even know.
Oh, the Demon Slayer episodes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
I know.
Those are fun. If you want to go back and rewatch those.
If you want to hear Raul saying goodbye to all the demons. Yep. Yeah. Do it again. I got chills.
I think the next episode was also like not one of my very, very favorites. The one with
the
cheating one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like the whole Colombian necktie. I thought that was really cool that they had a Colombian necktie. I was like, oh hell yeah!
Is that what that's called?
Yeah, it's called Colombian necktie, and it's awesome. I'm like, anytime I see it, I'm like, hell yeah!
If you say Colombian necktie, I'm thinking of something else.
Well, honestly, I don't want to get into it more. I don't want to get into it more because it's.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry, I have problems.
Just like you can't say what you're talking about. I think the Colombian necktie was still missing like one piece, and that's like the tongue sticking out. But without getting too much into it, it's crazy, man. I don't, that episode to me was just like necessary. Like I'm like, when are they gonna address like the cheating component in the like relationship or the being attracted to someone else? And I think you mentioned it earlier, Raul, how it's just like I don't know, like I don't even know what you said about it, but it was just like the whole thing of clearly being in a romantic relationship with someone that emotional and infidelity, some people don't think that's cheating, but then it's 100%. And what I thought was kind of great is that Jane kind of knows that this is going on, but at the same time, like she's still like trying to play hard ass and be like, oh, this is not bothering me. But then by the end, man, she was freaking like pissed, angry, jealous, and I don't know. I think I do. I think, man, I just seem like love those emotional reactions, even if it is jealousy. It's how you know, man. It's how you know someone cares about someone else. Like,
I mean, in our line of work, the closest we could come to having like something that's like, it's like a work wife or, a work husband for your significant other, And I could say like not in my current job, like, I don't have anybody that's like that I'm close to, but in my other job, like I had close relationships where I wouldn't say necessarily like that's my work wife, but I definitely enjoyed having that person or being able to communicate with
The
somebody.
companionship.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like I guess that's where the term comes, where you can have these like not cheating, but you're having these connections. It's like your wife really wouldn't approve that you're spending that much time or connecting so much with somebody that it's not them.
Moving on. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Oh,
Some dangerous territory. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I mean, but to me, it was just like still really funny because like that, even it played me a little bit, right? Like you see his like relationship with what was her, I don't even remember her name, but the other like spy,
mhm. Yeah.
who he was trying to like basically like follow and then eventually
Which is
kill. But
so
like,
weird that she like knew everything. She went. I think she was trying to
well,
convert him,
no, I think
and
it's because he was gonna kill her anyways. Like remember, like he was given a month, right? It was
yeah.
a month. He was given a month, and he could have done it at any time. And I think he needed that escape. He needed like like you guys said, the companionship and all that stuff. But I think he was probably being so liberal with like what he was telling her because he knew ultimately he was gonna get rid of her, and he was
But
just trying to enjoy it while it lasted. Like,
but she's also a spy. So the moment it's like, hey, you're a spy. Like, what am I like? What is this? Like, again, there's no coincidence. So I
yeah,
just felt like she was probably also trying to not only get information from him, but possibly convert him into like her team. And at least that's
yeah.
what I think. If this episode, if she comes back in, let's say season two, I think that's where we're gonna find out. Like, all of a sudden, they are going from this agency to now this agency, and it's gonna be through
Well,
her.
question for you guys. Did you guys think that she was also placed by the agency? Because by this point in
An
the
agency for
show,
sure.
well, no, I'm saying
Oh,
by their agency.
I
Because,
don't
okay, think
know.
about it this way. By
Hmm.
this point, they fucked up already twice, right? They have one more strike to go. And the fact that the agency probably thinks they're becoming defective or they're probably not doing their jobs as well. Like, to me, it seems like they're almost trying to, like, cause them to mess up one more time to basically get rid of them. Because, like, how long do you keep people that keep like having like mistakes or they're not getting along because at this
As long
episode
as
when they get
possible.
not really because it wasn't by this point when they giving her the option of like do you want to switch wasn't it in this episode when they were like hey do you
Yeah.
want to switch your John
No, it was
I think it
earlier.
was. I think
it
it
was
was
It
earlier.
was
earlier
in
They
the
talked
snow
about it.
you
one.
see
They talked about it in the therapy episode. They talked
oh
about
okay
it.
but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying it was already leading up to the point that even the agency thought that there was opportunity there and I
Or
just
high
feel like
high at
maybe
least.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like they were trying to be broken up, like they were breaking them up, so to speak. Like I was thinking of it in like in a logical way that I'm like, that's random that they got into this mission and he ended up not the whole infidelity thing, but I don't know. To me, it seemed a little suspicious
I.
that it was kind of almost set up.
I mean, I know this movie. There's some, especially in the last episode. There's like huge references with the movie. But I feel like there has to be like this whole another agency, and I feel like that's where you might
I don't
get that
know.
it's not just this agency,
That'd be
but
cool
another
if they
one.
have like cameos in the next season.
Yeah. And dude, honestly, I don't know if you guys like because we're getting to like the last episode, and I do want to talk about some important things, but this is like hi is AI, artificial intelligence. It's a whole like it's an artificial intelligence like
You
program,
think
right?
It
Like
might
so?
be.
No,
the
I
only
It
didn't
might
reason
think.
be a
why
person. It
Yeah,
might be AI.
I the only reason why I say that is because anytime they're typing anything into the keyboard, he immediately is ready with the response. Like not even like a second goes where it's just like it's typed out immediately. So to me, that was like the first like thought that I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. And then in the last episode, they talk about like how he knew the time of like where this Smith was going to meet this
oh
other Smith, and they call him a god. And I'm like, dude, this is totally like AI. That's like doing this whole like thing. And when she
Orchestrating
broke the
everything.
laptop, he already had her send her one the next day. So this is like I feel like to me that's what's happening here. At least that's where I'm putting my money. Like there's no. I don't think there's an explanation, but to me, I'm
yeah.
thinking there's like some kind of artificial intelligence program that's doing this.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
nowadays it wouldn't be like a surprise.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I see it like it could have been either way. It could be an AI. It could be like a room full of people that all act like hi. So I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at least some component, some component for them to be. Because again, I don't want to get into the whole Tom Cruise movie that we just kind of you saw, but
Nah,
this is
nah,
like a Ramon, but it gets like it can get too
nah.
crazy if like AI
Yeah.
can just predict everything, and we don't want that. That makes it kind of
Minority
boring.
Report.
It's not that great, no.
Yeah.
Because then it's like at the end, it's like, well, now John and Jane go against AI because they got screwed over. Like, I'm afraid of that, but
I
I
Robot.
don't know. Yo, the last
What?
episode, can we just talk about like just we knew it was gonna happen that they were gonna like be turned against
Split it
each
up.
other.
Yeah.
But the cat, man, the cat.
Oh
No.
man,
Like,
forget
Then
that
the
cat.
mom.
no,
The
no, no, no. I mean,
mom, yeah, the mom
yeah,
was the
oh yeah,
one.
yeah. Yeah, but the cat. Like, come on. Like, the mom didn't die. Okay, so it's okay.
Well,
like,
I was gonna ask you, do you think those shots were missed on purpose at that point, or were they purposely like
between
for
them
her?
two,
Yeah.
No. Oh.
or
No,
like
no, no, no,
the
no.
shots when they kill the cat.
The cat. Yeah, when he
No, that
killed.
was the other John and Jane.
Yeah, but that was that on purpose that he missed, or was he legitimately trying to aim for her?
I think he
No,
was
no,
trying
no.
to.
I'm pretty sure that they were trying to instigate a fight between them.
That's what
and
I'm
make it
saying.
seem-
I was trying.
Oh,
I think they
like
were trying to
that.
instigate a fight between them. I do
Yeah.
think they were
That
trying
makes
to get
sense.
John like 100%. They were ready to blow him up,
Well,
but
yeah,
I think
it's
with
like-
Jane, it was more like, oh, he tried to shoot at you, so we took care of him. I feel
But
like
then
with
it
Jane,
doesn't
like, they
make
wanted her.
But that doesn't make enough sense. Like, why would you go that extent with John, who's the nicest, more like
But
chill
they
out
don't
of
like
the
John.
two?
John's the one that's been like this whole time. Like John's the one
He's
that's
the
like
reason for the failures.
the failures. You want to
Oh, that's
you're doing great.
true. That's
With her, and with her, what happens
Mm.
is that she opens the laptop and it's like terminate your John, and she closes it, and then that's when we get that scene. So I feel like they were just trying to
That's-
instigate. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
I like that. I like that because I didn't think about it that way. But now that you're mentioning, I'm like, that actually makes really great sense. Like, but I mean, ultimately they were gonna kill her anyways because that was you have like towards the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
That was the whole. But also it's because she did shoot that John too. So it's like, yeah. But no, I like that theory. I do like that. That was a great way of instigating because that whole first initial interaction of them like freaking duking it out is because they 100% believe that they were trying to kill each other.
yeah.
Which I love
Mhm.
the fact that Donald Glover freaking like John gave her that the truth serum like and gave themselves like both of them.
Yeah,
Which is-
that
I
was
think that was a
awesome.
beautiful way to
Yeah,
just really
it was
get
a good
everything
scene.
out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, give me some drinks and I'll tell you anything you need to know. And just I don't know.
Dude, it kind of reminded me of the beef episode with
Yeah.
with
Yes.
Ellie Wong and when they're in the woods and they eat the mushrooms. I think.
Yeah, the berries,
Oh,
and they're
yeah,
on the
yeah.
freaking
Berries.
the elderberries or
Yeah.
whatever. But it played exactly like that too. Just like a moment of like freaking raw, like honesty. Like I love how they were freaking crawling all over the floor. And, like I know we're skipping part of the conversations, but like ultimately she's like, "Do you want to kiss me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to kiss you." And they're just like freaking slobber, like not even slobbering, but they're just freaking just sloppily on the ground. It was beautiful. I like
I just
their
I
relationship.
thought it
by
was
the
funny
end.
about her marbles, her 73 or
Oh,
78 marbles.
When she
just-
admitted that's such a freaking psychopath, I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes so much sense. But I'm attracted to it though. I'm not gonna lie. That's my type of woman. Not saying
Crazy.
anything.
Oh,
That
dude,
yeah,
yeah.
100%. Like that's
Oh yeah, dude.
that I 100 like her there. Yes, 100%. Marbles
The
and all.
craziness. Yeah.
Even the loose ones that are
I
not
won't
in there all the
disagree.
way.
Ah,
Yeah,
see what you did there.
No.
no,
But-
yeah.
Dude, it's funny because like I think my wife, when me and her started watching the show, she rejected the Jane actress. She's like, "Oh, she can't act." They really didn't like her.
Oh, yeah.
And so I watched the whole show, and I'm like, "Oh, you would really love the show because it's more relationship focused." And Jane reminds me a lot of you, and you'll see why I say that. And obviously, like, when she was watching it, she kept looking at me. There did some of the things that I did resonate with her. But one thing that I told her about this, and you guys don't have to agree with this. This is just for me and her.
I
and
agree with
Depending-
that already.
Depending on what you say, I know. Yeah, let's go.
Well, no. I told her, I'm like, you might hate Jane because not only because of certain things that remind me of you, but she looks like you. Like you understand that Jane looks like you, a little bit too much, if you ask me. They didn't believe me. Kind of like, no, you're crazy. There was a certain point where we're sitting in the couch, and my daughter, like, she looks at Jane, and it's like, "Mom, that's you on the TV." And I'm like, there you go. If you didn't need like a bigger proof, like here's our daughter looking at Jane saying that's you on the TV. And I understand where she's getting this from. So it's just kind of funny that it's just like, I think my wife rejected Jane because she saw herself way too much in Jane. Not only by some of the things that she did, but the way they just like resemble each other.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I don't know.
I think for like the 10th time today, no comment. No I'm kidding.
Yeah,
No,
don't
I
say any
mean-
comment to that.
No, not
You'll
to
get in
that.
trouble.
Not to
We'll
that.
go
I'm
after
talking-
you. She has marbles now. I know
No.
what they're for.
not to her, to like
Yeah.
my wife, because it's kind of funny too. Like I can't say anything necessarily about like how closely they resemble each other, but I think I agree. There's something about like maybe more of us identifying as like John necessarily that's saying, oh, like my significant other or this my partner is like exactly like Jane. But I think it's just funny to like put yourself in those shoes, because then the person who's more like Jane is gonna have a harder time agreeing with it, because at the end of the day, she's the colder, tougher character, and I get it. Like, but at the same time, again, not to saying that, oh, I'm attracted to that, but I get it. Like, I get people like that. There's those characteristics also live within me, but I'm definitely more like John. So if I'm gonna say who's more like who, well, I'm definitely more like John. So by default, you're more like Jane. So not saying it, but it's just indirectly saying it.
Yeah, Raul, you're more about John and Jane together, mixed in together, right?
Not. I don't know if I would say that, but
You're actually probably the
I,
kindest person I know.
Yeah, you're
Besides
a
Ramon.
Thank
Besides
you.
Ramon. Yeah. Damn it, we're all Johns here. Fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I think we're good.
And I'm not much of a planner. I'm very spontaneous and I like to improvise a lot.
She said she's a type A, so yeah, I guess I'm a type
Yeah.
A when it comes to planning.
Yeah,
Shit.
you
Then-
are.
yeah, you are.
You have charts, man, for
Oh,
your
yeah.
wedding. You had like a whole. You were Schmidt from New Girl for your wedding. Schmidt from New Girl. If you guys know what I'm talking about, that's Carlos. Okay, big question to finish off, like at least that episode. Are they dead?
No.
But listen, hear me out. Jane said she had one bullet left, which also
Oh,
great.
there's-
So, well, first
yeah.
of all, so sad, right? She had one bullet left, and what did John say? I never had any to begin with. That means that the whole interaction between them, he never truly wanted to kill her. And obviously, they confessed that to each other, that they were kind of like missing shots on purpose. But she always went with the intention, and based off what you guys said, that makes more sense if they were trying to instigate her to go after him. But I think ultimately it was really sweet that he had no bullets in the beginning to truly get her. But then, yes, she did say she had one bullet, and you heard 3 gunshots. So you tell me, the weirdest way of putting up 3 fingers, anyways. But you tell me, in what world is she still alive? Like, if there was 3 shots fired, she only had one.
Well,
How
first of all, I
does-
don't know why that panic room doesn't have any weapons. And when he's
Yeah.
bleeding,
Well,
when he's bleeding
if
out,
a
I don't
train
know,
leaves at 10 going east, and another train. Okay.
bro. You need to go to sleep. You're tired. You don't know what we're talking about. You're
No,
thinking Brad Pitt's gonna show up to
No,
save
no,
the
no,
day.
no, no. It's because the whole numbers thing
Yes.
for the bullets. But
Raul's bleeding out right now, man. You gotta hurry up. You gotta hurry up. No, I mean, but no, for real though. Like, I do want to hear your
No,
honest answer. Also, like, are
No.
they alive? Because like people have been talking about a second season, but in reality, I don't think they're alive because the math doesn't make sense. Like,
are you
like-
saying that it could be a different John and Jane?
yes, and I think that would be great. Bring another different couple into it, right? Like someone else with great chemistry, or maybe not because they shouldn't have a chemistry in the beginning.
Or a different Jane or a different John.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I
one
meant.
of them lives.
Yeah,
I mean,
No,
Oh.
again,
it's a whole new couple. Like
like-
only one of them makes it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna say they're alive just because I could see that scene playing out of like her opening the door and catching that girl like being just like right away, like she knowing like, hey, I'm opening it. She doesn't know I'm opening, so I'm obviously gonna get a little bit of a upper hand. So I'm betting that they're still alive. At least that's where I'm thinking.
So then my question is, like, what happens in season 2? Because now I'm thinking we're gonna go chasing after AI, and I don't like it. So it's
Well, I'm
like,
just saying, like, I do think that maybe that other agency comes into play and they get recruited for that, and
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting 'cause-
I think season 2 is like them on the run and then trying to born identity.
But then
pretty
it's no
much.
longer Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
it
Yeah,
is,
Like,
but
but-
I mean,
that's-
it is, but like,
Yeah.
I know, but like, then it's a different, like, I don't know. I mean, it's intriguing for sure. Like, I want to know, but I think it would be better and sadder and more sad if
What's
that was.
something that I kind of wanted to say, and I was choosing whether or not to say it or say it. But I think this show, as far as like consequences, man, I think that's like the only weakness that I don't want to say. Like, I don't think anything they do there's really a consequence because based on what they're doing, there's this whole idea that they're never gonna get caught, or they're not gonna be on television, or they're not gonna be like we're looking for these people. It's just like, oh my god, I just blew up the entrance to the museum, and chase this person down the road for so many miles, and like what the cops are never gonna like bring that up. They were the last one seen with a billionaire, and like what the cops aren't gonna be like, who's those people? That this is like this idea of like what they do. There's really like no consequences, because I say that because there's never really any follow up. Like there's never any like news talking about it. So I'm like, okay, so at that point, I kind of have to
Maybe
take
they
out
just have a
that.
lot of influence. The
The
organization.
agency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, like I just think the New York one definitely. Like I'm like, you can't just like drop a bomb and expect that on past
Oh, like yeah, when
9/11.
she
Yeah,
did it on the freaking the
yeah.
rotating door. Yeah, that makes it the revolving door.
So again, I think it's more like the relationship, the spice parts, like doesn't really like affect me at all. It's more like let me see second season with her getting pregnant and now going through the
What?
process.
Oh, that
Of,
was cute too.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, how she
Yeah, I
like
could see. I
ultimately
could see
finally
that. I could see
said,
the
yeah.
second season being that too, where
hmm.
they're trying to protect the pregnancy.
I don't know.
That would be kind of funny. No, actually,
No, no, no. I mean, I
that does
know,
need to
I
be it
know.
though. Yeah.
Is you guys are just giving me all these scenarios where, like, I do want to keep watching them both, like Donald and Maya, like, absolutely, like, I want to see that.
But
Oh, yeah,
think
but
about
it's
it. This idea of like her being pregnant, needing stuff, and John's like doing spy shit while like having to remember to get milk, diapers, or all these things from for her, or not putting her in danger because of this. It's just kind of like it does kind of like.
Or getting pads and wings.
wow.
uh, but
Someone's on TikTok too much.
I am.
yeah.
Or with
I
me.
mean,
You are.
great show, super awesome. Really loved it. Saw it twice. Go ahead. Go
Wait, can we
ahead.
just mention the final thing about the show? The
Yeah.
neighbor, that was pretty funny. That at the end, all he
Oh,
Oh
really
yeah.
freaking
dude.
cared about was the house. I love that
Oh
the
my
show actually
god. That's
truly.
Moby
I love
Dick.
that
Yeah.
the show truly ended with that scene of him just being like, "Hey, we got it, we got it." Like that's so great because like you just like take away from everything else that happened in that episode, and it's just his victory. Who cares? Like he's not even concerned from them. He's just like
Yeah, which I'm like,
my
dude, it was
Moby
just like
Dick.
you walked into a crime scene and like, how are you gonna get the listing? Like, I don't
He don't
know.
care. He don't care. He's getting the house, man. He's getting the house, and I love it. That's a great way to end it.
Yeah, no. But okay, let's move on past this just so we can have the last few minutes to talk about the casting for Fantastic Four, because obviously that's something
Oh
that
yeah, yeah. We
we want to
promise.
discuss. It's
Promise.
funny because I do feel like the one reason why we haven't discussed this that it's finally been announced is because for so long, man, there was so many rumors, and it's gonna be this
John
person. It's not gonna
Krasinski,
be
Emily
this person.
Blunt.
And it just drove me nuts, man. I got to the point where like I'm like I no longer care. Just make the damn movie. So when it was finally announced, like it just like I'm like ah whatever. It doesn't care. Like I kind of knew
Are you saying the last Fantastic Four movie wasn't amazing?
the one. Dude, I'm a big
Fan
defender of
Four
the.
Stick.
I'm a big defender of the back from the 2000 ones. Like I really love those movies. Even
No,
the
I
second
mean
one.
Fan Four Stick. The
That
one
one's
with Miles
terrible.
Teller, Michael B. Jordan.
I don't think
Um,
nobody's supposed to talk about that one.
I don't think.
dude, that's the
I
thing
don't.
that I hate about that movie is that I loved the casting, but it was such a bad movie. And honestly, it was a story. It was such a horrible story and so badly written.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, when Chris Evans like was in it, it's just funny because he's still
Yeah,
in the MCU. But I just like I don't know. I think I'm
and he was a good
over.
Johnny Storm.
Yeah, but I
yeah.
do. I'm over like the conversation of the old ones. I think it's the same thing going into like now that X-Men is being involved as well. Like I just want to see what this is about. I love the casting because I think in general Pedro Pascal you can't go wrong. Like I mean I just
Is he too
I don't
overplayed though? That's the big thing right now. People keep in mind, some
nah.
people are a little bit sour. Some of the people that have been cast, Pedro Pascal, just
Yeah,
because he's been in everything currently, so it feels like the
but if
too
he's gonna
safe
do,
of a choice. Yeah,
but if
go
he's
ahead.
gonna, I mean, but what's wrong with that when they've been messing up? Like
Yeah,
when right now it's not a great time for like superhero movies because
it's
everything we get is
not.
crap. Like I'm definitely not gonna see Madam Web, but I've been hearing like nothing but trash about it. So like
Dude,
you
I want to
know,
see it
like the
because of that.
Marvels. Oh no, of course, I mean I'm still gonna watch it. Like watch Morbius, and it's just part of it, right? The Marvels, I watch that too.
Oh,
So
I
it's
haven't
like
seen it. I'm going to, but I haven't.
it's you know it's yeah it's what it is, but that's what I'm saying. Like what's wrong with going safe when you need to do something for it? The guy who plays Richie in the Bear, like I love
Yeah,
him.
I'm all
I
up
don't
for that.
Oh
Yeah,
I
my
mean I don't
god.
know in correlation to the character, but in a sense like just his ability to like act in
Mhm.
a show like the Bear and do such a good job and just growing his like character in there, Like I just you know it,
Well,
and
well, his
then
character in the Bear and in Andor, it's sort of like this angry person. So it's like if you're gonna put a person in CGI, because I'm assuming the thing is gonna be CGI. Like, yeah, this guy's gonna be great because he's gonna have that anger to the thing, and he's gonna be able to portray that. And if you
Mm-hmm.
ever do want to show him like in human form, obviously he's a great actor because we've seen him in
yeah.
the Bear. So it's just like, yeah, like I'm excited about
Yeah.
his casting for
What
sure. And Vanessa
about
Kirby, I'm excited because she's
Dude, I love
always
her.
great. Yeah, she's great. She's been great in the Mission Impossible movies. At least I feel
Yeah.
like she's been great. And
what
then The
Eddie
Crown.
Eddie
Yeah.
from Stranger Things?
Oh yeah.
That's the one that's a hot take for me, man. And I see it
For
on
Johnny
Twitter and I don't
Storm,
yeah.
I think at least the only thing
I
that I'm
could
very
see
familiar
it.
with is Stranger Things, right? And I think
Yeah.
that character is so different than Johnny Storm in a sense of like maybe not so different, but it's just such a different show, such a different vibe. It's set in a whole different time, which I hear this one's also going to be like probably because of the
The
the ad that
60s,
it
yeah.
yeah. So it's like maybe that kind of plays a little bit into it. Like they're like, hey, this guy did such a good job of playing someone back in the '80s, like this will be great. He will be great for this, but I don't. He is the only one that I'm skeptical about. But I don't think he's not going to do a great job. I just don't.
You
I can't put it together right now. Yeah, I think I
and
don't know. I don't know. What are you hearing? That's the biggest problem. Like, what are people not liking? Because I haven't been on social media like that.
from what I can tell, they're probably just like me, you know. And again, I've said this before. Like, I almost hate to always be like, I don't like that casting because I've been proven wrong so many times. Like, I'm talking Namor and who knows, like
Mm.
Quicksilver. So I've always been proven wrong on the casting. So obviously, he's probably gonna do a great job because he did a great job in Stranger Things. I just don't know enough about the actor himself to really say like I don't want him. But people, I think, are just kind of like probably like what I'm saying, like based on the fact that he's just really none the only thing he's done is Stranger Things, and like they don't really know him from anything else.
Hmm.
And I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
I don't know. I think Pedro Pascal is probably one of the issues that people have, and it's mostly for that. Like you said earlier, it's like that he's a safe bet. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
I,
I
I,
don't know.
I,
That's
I,
like an issue.
I know another thing that came up is the age difference between Reed Richard and Sue Storm, because Pedro Pascal is like in his 50s,
Yeah, and Vanessa
or
Kirby's like
40s.
30s, like late 30s, no?
No, yeah, yeah, she's like our age, and then he's like I think like in his 40s, early 50s, something like that. So I know people are bringing that up
Is
as a thing.
Johnny supposed to be like? Are they Johnny and Invincible Woman supposed to be like twin brother and sister, or are they
No, no,
like different ages?
he's younger than she is, I
Okay,
think.
okay,
But yeah, but
I
Yeah.
don't know.
so it works out in the casting. But the big thing that I think is going to be even bigger than this is who they're going to cast as Doctor Doom, or if they're going to have a Doctor Doom.
I mean, they have to because I think that's where Secret Wars is really gonna play into this
Yeah,
whole plan with the Fantastic Four, like the Doctor
yeah,
Doom aspect of it. So I
yeah.
mean, like they have to have a Doctor Doom, and that's going to be your key role, man. If you don't cast Doctor Doom and do him well, and it's crazy because we've seen a lot of Doctor Doom too, which people would might be like a Green Goblin situation, like I'm done with that character, but it's just never been done right. So it's like you
Hmm.
guys gotta really get
Yeah.
it right, yeah.
I don't know. I think
I
that's
like
I
the OG Doctor Doom from the early 2000s.
I mean, I'm worried that Doctor Doom might be a little too Iron Man based on how MCU has done these characters in the past. That's my worry. That's
Hmm.
like, oh man, if you make him too much like Iron Man, there's definitely going to
So
be a
Robert Downey
disconnect.
Jr. shouldn't play him.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I think with this is just the same thing too. Kind of at this point where we're at with any of these movies, just like cross your fingers and just hope for the best. Because like we
Yeah.
don't truly have a say at the end of the day. Like unless it's something controversial, like truly, it's like we just gotta wait for it. I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
don't
Wait. Isn't what's the name? Whatever Holt wasn't he cast? What's
Nicholas
he
Holt was
cast as?
no, he's doing the
Oh, he's doing Lex
Superman
Luthor. Just
Lex
kidding.
Luthor. Yeah, I
Yeah,
He
mean
is.
that one, Nicholas
yeah.
Holt would have been somebody that obviously I think I would have enjoyed maybe like in being in a Marvel movie for sure because he's
Well,
funny, man.
he was
He's
Beast.
Beast, yeah.
but
But that
he's also
was
oh shit, but
Fox for
yeah,
Fox, yeah.
damn it. But he's also funny. He was in that show, The Great, and he was just
Mm.
hilarious in that.
Oh, I love him in anything.
Yeah, that's why I don't know,
I
man.
like him.
Again, I don't want to say that this is not gonna be great because again, I just want to see the movie. I'm not judging based on casting. I'm just glad that finally it's official. No more speculating on who's it gonna be.
2025.
Yeah,
But I'm still down with Pedro Pascal. It just can't be the Mandalorian Pedro Pascal because I think he's too toned down there. Like I think
Well, yeah,
the
he has
last
to.
the Last of Us and everywhere else. Yeah, I know, but it's I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess it's that reserve. But I don't know. I just love that man for like the way that he acts. I mean, his acting.
Kingsman,
So
Game of
I
Thrones.
just hope that they do his
well,
powers
hey,
in a really cool way too.
and Joseph Quinn, like he was also in Game of Thrones. I forgot about that too. That's besides Stranger Things. That's where he's from.
All right, man. Well, I think Fantastic Four is gonna be awesome for sure, and can't
Hope
wait for
so.
X Men. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith was great. Watch it.
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah.